The latest projections by the UN suggest the world population could grow to around 8.5 billion by the end of this decade, 9.7 billion by 2050, and expected to peak at around 10.4 billion during the 2080s and remain at that level until 2100.
On 15 November 2022, the world will mark an important milestone as the global population surpasses 8 billion people. 8 billion people. What a number. The historic moment calls for celebration. Population growth is a tangible sign of our collective success in improving the living conditions of everyday people throughout the world. But the 8 billion milestone also brings important responsibilities and highlights related challenges for social and economic development and environmental sustainability. For example, countries whose populations are growing rapidly must provide schooling and health care to growing numbers of children and ensure education and employment opportunities to increasing numbers of youth.
The report also points to half the projected increase in global population rise up to 2050 coming from just 8 countries, 5 in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, the Philippines and Tanzania, with warnings coming from the UN that with rapid population growth comes greater difficulties in eradicating poverty and combating hunger, while the need to increase healthcare and education coverage becomes key. In a statement, UN Chief Antonio Guterres called the report a reminder of our shared responsibility to care for our planet and to reflect on where we have fallen short of our commitments.
Whereas population growth may exacerbate environmental damage, more developed countries whose per capita consumption of material resources is generally the highest, bear the greatest responsibility for implementing strategies to decouple human economic activity from environmental degradation.
And while India is expected to become the most populous nation in the world later this year, global population growth has slowed, with global fertility expected to keep declining from around 5 births per woman in the 1950s to around 2.1 births per woman by 2050.
Global population will continue to grow and could reach 9.7 billion in 2050. It is projected to reach a peak of around 10.4 billion people during the 2080s and to remain at that level until 2100. The projected global population of 10.4 billion at the end of the century is more than 500 million lower than what we projected 3 years ago.
The report also says that globally the world counts slightly more men than women in 2022 at a ratio of 50.3% for men and 49.7% for women, a ratio expected to be equal by 2050. Shervin Riceby's SABC News, New York.